A defining moment for this team, the words not of the media but of Stuart Lancaster himself, as England look to make Twickenham a place where the opposition are forced to revise their expectations, just like it was all those years ago when the men who are going to parade at half-time today won their World Cup. The current head coach now requires his team to hit the series at full pelt. All week these men have been getting ready for their defining moment today, their reaction at kick-off. The England side then, Mako Vunipola starts in the absence of the injured Alex Corbisiero, just as it happened in the summer with the Lions and two other Lions, Dan Cole and Tom Youngs. No Jeff Parling, a blow to the head in training this week, but England were planning on starting with Joe Launchbury and Courtney Lawes, and Lawes will call the line-outs. The back row, the summer captain Tom Wood, the man he stood in for, Chris Robshaw, rested for that tour, and the young man who made his debut in Argentina, Billy Vunipola, brother of Mako. Lee Dixon's fine form for Northampton this season has seen him hold the scrum half place from Argentina. Owen Farrell is back at 10 after his Lions journey. Billy Twelvetrees went from South America to Australia and starts alongside the team's new cap, Joel Tompkins, the Saracen. Marlon Yard and Chris Ashton, the wingers. Yard appearing in just his second test, his first at Twickenham. And Mike Brown back to where he plays so well for Harlequins, fullback. England just 213 caps in their starting 15. Australia 496. Make of that what you will. It's a very experienced Wallaby front row looking to show what they can do under the new laws. James Slipper, Ben Alexander, Stephen Moore. James Horwell lost the captaincy this week, but he keeps his place with Sitaleki Timani coming in for the injured Rob Simmons. Scott Vardy's on the blind side. Michael Hooper, last year's man of the match, is on the open side. Ben Moen is the team's new captain, having led it home to Argentina. Will Genia and Quade Cooper, the Reds, the Queensland Reds. Cooper taking on Genia's role of vice-captain. That is some climb up the responsibility ladder. Matt Tamua, Tavita Kurandrani, the Brumbies in the centre. Tamua holding off a fit again. Christian Lealiafano. And Nick Cummins had success here last season. He's back from injury to join Adam Ashley Cooper on the wing again these days. And the potentially lethal Israel Folau. And the bench shows England with more caps here than in the run on 15. Bath's second row, Dave Atwood, with just 4 of them, the least experienced of the benchmen. Australia's versatile back, Bernard Foley, would win just a 3rd cap should he come on. And as it's the midway point between World Cups, inevitably talk begins in earnest about the next one, especially with the final here 2 years away now, almost to the day. And Australia, who meet England in that pool at this ground, with Cooper looking for Adam Ashley Cooper. And it's the team from the Southern Hemisphere getting into their stride first.
Very flustered start by England there. Matt Tamua's restart is very good. It gives Cummins a chance, but Tom Wood, we can see it hits Chris Robshaw on the head, and Marlon Yard was very, very shallow there, quite a long way in field, and there was space, and Cooper looked for it that time. I think he'll look again.
Tom Youngs throws. Another Tom Wood at the line-out. His Northampton Saints colleague, Courtney Lawes, calling those line-outs in the absence of Jeff Parling. Hasn't played every minute, Parling, under Stuart Lancaster, but nearly so, and England trying to grow another with responsibility in this area. Lawes, the young man, takes it on.
Well, Stuart Lancaster won't be very pleased with the first minute there, because they won the line-out, but they've gone absolutely nowhere. So Australia, from the kick-off, have taken the initiative.
Stephen Moore, the only man with an age starting with the 3 in the match. Throws in. That's not the best line-out from Australia either.
Carry back in.
So a shaky start from both teams now.
Yep.
Here's Adam Ashley Cooper. Scored a couple of tries here in previous games. Israel Folau. In goes Tompkins, his first tackle in international rugby, and then he hits the ruck. Just a 2-year turnaround from rugby league, where he's featured in some very high-profile games. I know the England management feel he's got the temperament for this. Some of the home supporters thinking that was forward. Kurandrani. Penalty.
Well, that's a weakness of the Australian game. They do have a habit of overplaying between their own 22 and the halfway line. They think they've got this talent. They love to try and get people like Folau into it. And if your defence presses well, you can force errors. And England have done exactly that, led by Joel Tompkins, who started it with a very good tackle on the danger man, Israel Folau. That will make the Saracen feel very good about Test match rugby. Folau, a dazzling runner, but Tompkins nails him straight away.
Owen Farrell. We didn't really need to have any debate about that, whether it will go over or not. Toby Flood, who's got a very similar, in fact, slightly superior international kicking percentage to Owen Farrell. He's got great faith in Farrell too.
Stay at 10 now. Advantage.
A line out not working there again in this match. England's turn once more. Tamua, Kurandrani, a little bit of space maybe on the outside for Folau, brings in that Adam Ashley Cooper. Genia,
Advantage offside.
a maul, advantage being played here as England had strayed.
Offside, 8. Offside.
And like England's kick before, it is very kickable. Quade Cooper didn't look like missing one, didn't miss one in Dunedin.
Offside.
England will not be pleased with this. We saw Tamani make a mess of one line out at the front. Billy Vunipola not on the same wavelength there as Tom Youngs. England lose the ball. It's a massive kick for Cooper because he's such a mood kicker. If he's on form, he doesn't look like he'll ever miss. If he's having a bad day, it looks like he'll get nothing.
Well, he was in the mood in Dunedin, and he's in the mood again, it seems. 3-all.
Just a slight argument with Barnsley there. I get what he's saying about Martin Yard. Doesn't want to give too much space, but conversely, I like him using the touchline as his friend early on. Don't come in, get caught stepping in at the wrong time. Backed his pace, got back out there, trusted the inside D. I'm not going to moan too much about that from Yard.
Scored 2 tries in that second test in Argentina. Good chase from Ashton on the restart. Genia. Drop from not just the captaincy, vice-captaincy leadership roles in the team, but also out of the team altogether in the Rugby Championship. Oh, well played by Mike Brown again. Filled in on the wing last season, but fullback is his position. Vunipola. Tom Youngs. And Mako Vunipola now. Good carry from him. Who's going to come in at scrum half? It wasn't protected, but sweeping in at the side. Breaking the offside line again. Australia this time.
The ball was out, but you didn't start from behind Westwood.
Yeah, Will Genia the man that time. Quite right, the ball had come out. England will need to be careful. Hooper, we saw with the Pat Sanderson piece a couple of minutes before kickoff, came through the top and won fair ball. Genia does not. There's the bits and pieces brilliance from Mike Brown. He does all these bits so well. Another super kick, claims the ball from Genia. Lee Dixon's pass after it wasn't as sharp, but that's cracking from Brown.
Played well for Harlequins this season. Hasn't always been going his club's way, of course. But even in the defeat against Scarlets in the Heineken Cup, came up with 2 tries and looked Harlequins' main weapon on the day.
Even though Harlequins have been struggling, Mike Brown has started this season like he left off last season. Tremendous consistency. Same can be said about this man and his goal kicking, especially under pressure.
And for once, for Owen Farrell, the flags do not go in the air. Yes, a return to form
Fine.
of sorts from Australia of late, but
Set.
only 3 wins out of 10 tests
Yes, no.
in the year. England the home side. Need to make Australia ask those questions of themselves again, and certainly at the scrum. And that will be very encouraging for England.
Well, for England, echoes of Sydney and the way Adam Jones and Alex Corbisiero tore them to pieces. Here you get a great angle. Dan Cole has got slipper screwed there, and Australia concede another penalty. And look at that, a strike. A thing of beauty and wonder. A hooker striking. Start this season, Tom Youngs was saying it's actually dangerous if you lift your foot to strike. Now he seems to have mastered the ancient art and doing a pretty good job there. Super scrum from England.
Johnny Wilkinson was playing last night. He's made the journey over Ben Kay, Dan Luger, Julian White, Mark Regan, Paul Grayson. Lawrence Dallaglio there as well. But it's all about these men on the field today. It's their day. And Farrell, an immediate chance from almost the same spot.
Same kick.
Same result.
Same hook.
Line all over. Advantage.
And it's another penalty. Farrell will fancy it.
There's an avalanche of penalties against Australia at the moment.
Well, again, it was over compensation to that side. Suppose he's getting closer, but it will not be of any consolation to Owen Farrell. That's 3 now that he's missed as Yard takes it back for England. All will be forgotten, though, if England score from this. Dixon to Farrell. Now it's 12 trees. Down goes Dixon. Had to do it. Wanted to be on his feet to serve. But Vunipola serves up something pretty tasty there as well. Launchbury. Rare visit inside, an opposition 22. Brown inside to Owen Farrell. Dixon again. Rob Shaw, the captain, on a plate again for Vunipola.
Well, away 5. Advantage.
Another penalty coming.
This one's closer and it's on the other side, so you imagine Owen Farrell will kick this to give England the lead.
All for different things. Needs a better attitude from you. I'll give you time now to address that.
He's had the first warning about 2 minutes ago. That, you assume, is the final warning.
Yes, the stats don't lie, do they, on this one?
Is it 3 from the scrum, a few from the breakdown? Billy Vunipola, probably England's outstanding player in the first half hour. Solid in the set piece, super carry, and that's a really good offload. And Joe Launchbury, last season a teammate at was right behind him, breaks 2 tackles, and this is a really good supporting line from Launchbury, who does that so well.
Quade Cooper swatted away there by Vunipola.
Yeah, but let's not say that's because Cooper is an absolutely useless tackler. Yes, you've got to do better, but a few backs are going to miss Vunipola in the years to come.
Farrell then.
Looks good.
Oh, he likes that post, doesn't he?
Stay near the scrum.
Getting up to Cooper. Goes wide for Lau. This is the danger, the big danger. Down that channel, England knew it.
Yeah, ball is out.
Genia, he went backwards, and Australia going forwards with Fardy. Now it's the Wallabies' turn to sense that try line. for the first time. Timani, big drive from him. England forced into some desperate looks here.
Stay on the line.
And maybe some desperate tackles too. It's slow ball, England charge out.
Ball's out.
Genia looks for Toumua! Scored in Dunedin, and he's scored now at Twickenham too. Smashed his way over, and the confidence that returned first in Argentina and then in New Zealand despite defeat, well, it was in evidence again there, all right. Matt Toumua.
Quite brilliant flat pass from Quade Cooper, and Chris Ashton was the man who got suckered in. A beautiful fade in line. He just drifts off the pass there, Folau, and there's problem on. They keep the ball going. It's a gorgeous pass. Folau is past Ashton. He has got suckered infield. England didn't want that, and Toumua, who's had a very decent start to the game, is strong, and 12 Trees is not going to enjoy that. That's a big miss.
As powerful and as pleasing as it was for Australian eyes, as you say, for Billy 12 Trees, for England, anything but. Bang.
We looked at the move before the game. Cooper flat, 3 or 4 options. That's exactly what it is. You've just got to be patient in defence. Ashton wasn't. Try.
Yeah, okay. 14 or 11 rather. You've tackled the player in the air. Be more careful the next time.
Marlon Yard, maybe a legacy of the try, and England hurting. Toumua looks a happy man, doesn't he? Every right to be. And that's a fine kick. Really good kick up the touchline.
Chris Ashton just got a little bit narrow. Now, you can see Cooper's throwing the flat pass, but just look at Ashton. He is looking at the man, and because of that, that enables, as the move goes on, him just for a split second to get sucked in, and Folau is outside, and the damage is done. Poor defending, super play from Cooper.
Let's go.
Long delay there from Moore. Referee encouraged him in the end. His players were shouting for it. Concerned that it was going to be too long. But that's a good drive from Australia. Hasn't quite gone for them in the scrum, or more than that, but they've driven well. A couple of good rolling mauls in this first half. Now they've got a penalty in centre field because of it. They're setting up the positions, and Cooper looks in the form, and he really shouldn't miss this to make it 13-6.
Well, it's a nightmare couple of minutes for Billy 12 Trees, because he's the man who's pinged for going straight off his feet there. You know, it's a difficult tackle for him to make on Toumua, but he's a big man at 12, and he has to plug those defensive holes. He missed that one for the tackle, and then almost immediately after the try has been scored, he shows a little lack of discipline. He's off his feet, and it's a bang in front of post 3-point opportunity for Quade Cooper.
Yeah, perfect. Thanks.
When 12 Trees have started for England, they've won against Scotland here at the start of the Six Nations. Scored a try in that match, of course. Dublin against Ireland. Yes, Argentina in the summer, and he got another try.
The form inside centre is Luther Burrell, but 12 Trees' distribution skills and the fact he's got a bit more experience gave him the job. But he's under pressure in this 12 slot at the moment, even without a couple of injuries.
Here's Cooper. And that equals 3 points.
Bind! Set!
Twickenham is fairly quiet at the moment.
Again, you're quite happy there just to twiddle the ball. He can't quite kick it out just yet for half-time. In fact, he's kicked it out on the full. England need to get into position quickly. Dixon is calling them up. England will get another play. Genia, for once, that computer let him down.
That's a real mistake there from Will Genia. He'd be really distraught with
Is it Mark?
himself. You could see it there.
Just the way he was spinning the ball a la Shane Warne in his hands before the scrum. Felt convinced he knew exactly where the clock was at. Not quite. And of course, he didn't execute on the kick, so Laws calls and Laws takes. And this will give England a lift, and the crowd too. A score here.
That's one scrum half.
This juncture.
One.
A massive bonus considering Australia could have closed it out. And now it's England on the maul. And on the roll.
Looking for 3-0
He's legal right through the middle.
Staying bound together. George Clancy at the moment happy, but then
He's fine, he's legal.
it became illegal. And it's half-time. And Australia, who have won 3 out of their last 4, lest we forget, at Twickenham, and hold the Cook Cup after winning here last season when they came as underdogs following heavy defeat in Paris. Well, they lead here this season by 13 points to 6. On the field, they've started to do that. And as nice as that was for the England players of 2003, and also the crowd here today to see them win the World Cup again, I'm sure that was a great source of inspiration for the Australian players. In the middle, it's Kurandrani up with the first tackle of this second half. England needing that first score, really. Dixon and Farrell, 3 first-half misses off the kicking tee. Toomua, the try scorer.
That's in space.
And Cummins is a big man and really should have made more of that, having got there. He'll be very disappointed, Nick Cummins. In fact, I can hear him from here screaming his frustration.
Big hole there, really big hole. Matt Toomua again doing all the basics really well. It was a good kick. And the moment he struck that, I could see that Cummins had every chance of getting there. Look at the space now. Farrell comes forward and realises he's under pressure. That was loose from England. Disappointment for Cummins, but a very good kick from Toomua.
Stop, Pack, stop.
Mike Brown in the wrong place here. Did really well to hold it up, and Ashton too nearly charged down, got it away from Quade Cooper. Toomua. Another very reliable boot on the field today. 12 trees. Another one of those. Went backwards off his shoulder though. Farrell. Wood almost took that away from Yard. Ashton. It's hardly fluid at the moment from England. Orwell's got it.
You need to get a bit of width here.
Genia. Toomua. Australia will be looking for width. That channel that has served them well in this game. Kurandrani. Handoff on Tompkins. Adam Ashley Cooper. Yard flags out. Has to be. Looked like a late challenge there.
Time off, please.
This could be a card as well.
What have you seen, Dudley?
White 11 has continued on his line after the ball's been kicked, and
Yeah.
he's taken the goal player out.
Okay. What's your recommendation?
Be a penalty against 11 White
Okay, in 15.
in 15.
Thank you.
No, it's not a card. Dudley Phillips.
It's a late tackle by you and the opposing player. It's the second time I've had to talk to you now. Be very careful. 10 in here, 15.
Well, it's a late tackle from Marlon Yard. It was pretty slow thinking by England. We were sitting here and you could see when Horwell won that kickoff that Australia had men wide. It's Adam Ashley Cooper, and that's a complete take out of the ball, and it's really unnecessary because Mike Brown's in a fine position. But again, England allowing themselves to get outflanked, and that's an inexperienced man making a really silly error there.
Here's Cooper for that first score of the second half, and he's missed. Could be a very important one, that. England need to make it a very important miss.
Again, that's not bad, is it, from To'omua?
Well, he was going for the corner, of course. The line has to be 5 metres out anyway. He's risked it too much. Mike Brown, well, he's got the crowd out of their seats there. England need these little injections. Australia player is down. It'll be quite a bad one. Tompkins. Dixon. There's Mako Vunipola.
Careful back, you go for back.
Dixon again, taken back inside, so Farrell does not look for touch. He finds Israel Folau. England get him early this time. Robshaw again, quick to get there, and it was worth getting there.
Ashton's gone.
He's taken a quick one. It was not a knock-on, as you hear George Clancy say. The initial track of the ball was backwards. England might have got away with that. And here's Yard, blasting on the touchline. Oh, that's what he can do. That's what he brings to the team. The power.
And some pace there. That's a brilliant tackle from Adam Ashley-Cooper. Scored key tries for Australia in that corner in the past, but that was Yard at his very best.
He's pretty big, isn't he, from waist down? He powers up the touchline there.
Well, he's left Genia and Kurindrani for dead with his sheer pace. But Adam Ashley-Cooper, he's not the quickest, but he's been around so long. He's got his angles worked out. What a tackle by the right wing. That's probably the best rugby we've seen in this test so far. Brilliant from the England left winger. Four-man line-out called by Australia. Launchbury is barely 10, but he's the man. If it goes over the top, he's going for it.
Hall scrabbling this time. He's taken a few today, almost unopposed in the line-out. Charged down by England. This might break. It does! The captain's gone down to score after the former Australian captain went down on the line-out.
Okay, George,
to try and scramble the ball away.
Thank you.
Well, it looks like England have got the luck they needed. Get the break with the official. You stay down there, you then got to make your luck. And Robshaw's reaction is quick. Is he onside? Charge down Genia, having a difficult afternoon. Hits McCalman. Oh, that's super finish there from Chris Robshaw. England's captain has scored.
George, I have a decision.
Yes.
There's no reason you may not award the try.
Thank you.
England right back in it, and it all came from that quick tap that was so nearly botched on halfway, but it enabled Marlon Yard to do what he does so well in club colours for London Irish. And then Chris Robshaw has got his first international try, and it was, even though it was from such short range, as you say, Stuart, a really good finish.
But it's a bit fortuitous as well, isn't it? It hits McCalman, number 20. Watch this. It's a great charge down. It's pressure. It hits McCalman, and Robshaw is the fastest man to it. South Africa scored a ricocheting sort of try of similar type last week and went on to win. England, you can't say they've deserved it, but sometimes you just take your luck when it's there.
Oh, Farrell. And those kicking boots, are they back on? Yes, they are. He's plotting those coordinates to perfection again. Robshaw, the captain, feeds to Ben Youngs, and then Billy Vunipola. That's what he's in the side to do. Back to Ben Youngs, and England are moving now. Farrell goes on to Ashton. Mike Brown takes it, looks to try and make a hole there in the Australian defence, but they have got across very well indeed. Ben Youngs again to Joe Launchbury and Joe Marler. Young's in there once more. He's got a good record against Australia. Yard. Laws is waiting in the right wing position here, but England concentrate through the middle first with Tom Wood. Ben Young's nice service onto Tompkins, supported by Hartley. Good wrestling from the Saracen. Ben Young's to Robshaw. It's a different England now. Laws has left the wing and he waits ominously for Australia. But first it's Hartley, another Northampton Saint. Robshaw and Launchbury with him. In comes Laws. This will be taking it out of the Wallaby defence. Tough moments these. Farrell to Twelvetrees, his turn maybe to blast through. Ben Youngs to Farrell. Oh, he's got his head down here, saw the gap! And Twickenham rises as one to salute that score from Owen Farrell.
Marshall, can you hear me? I just want to check for an obstruction there, please.
Just in case.
Check for obstruction.
The way
okay.
was created. George Clancy goes to Marshall Kilgore again.
Takes a very good line, Owen Farrell. He's on the blind side, he comes very late. And the Australians don't see him coming. You can see him left to right. Is there going to be an obstruction? Well, Steve, you can see Moore gets to him to make the tackle. I guess technically you could say yes, but Moore's right there under him. It's a big call not to give it.
Hartley is sort of taking the right line, isn't he, to create the space for his own man. He's got Moore behind him. He looks straight over to the referee, Dylan Hartley, but I don't think he's looking where Moore is. Let's see.
Well, I think he just leans into him. All I'll say is there would be a justification not to give it, but it would take a very big call from George Clancy not to. I think a try will be given here. What's TMO going to say? I mean, he has opened the gate, Mars.
Yeah, he's aware there that Moore was hovering.
George,
Yes, Marshall.
I have a decision.
Yeah, Marshall, from what I have seen, there isn't enough obstruction there to disallow the try.
I agree completely.
Thank you.
Referee's happy. And so are England.
Well, well played, Owen Farrell, scooted from left to right. Dylan Hartley, just the right degree of obstruction. In the words of the referee, Miles, there wasn't enough obstruction. There was obstruction, but not enough.
Well, the line that Hartley takes is acceptable, isn't it? Because he can see Farrell coming.
Don't think it is if you're an Australian.
No, I appreciate that, and I appreciate, you know, it could have gone either way.
But that's really good for Farrell. He comes left to right. He's got the backs beaten there. So I think Moore gets there to make the tackle, but they will look at that and say, but whether he's there or not, he could have been in an even better position. Substitution for Australia coming.
Cummins. Ashton times it. Kane Douglas is the man on, by the way, for Tamani. And losing that is Tamua. Hacked on his yard, or just couldn't take it. 12-3s. Still on. Robshaw and Ben Youngs. He's got a couple of tries in Australia against Australia. His yard. As England look for their third score of this second half. Robshaw and Farrell have crossed that line. No second half points from Australia. Tompkins after this is a tall man, but not quite that tall, although Brown's gone through on that. If Kurandrani and Genia did not ground that.
Marshall, George here, can you hear me?
Yes, George, I can hear you.
Can you check on the touchdowns, please?
Well,
okay, check on the touchdowns.
Mike Brown, which is why George Clancy's making sure that Kurandrani gets this right. Yeah. I think in the light of the last couple of decisions, it would be a bit harsh on Australia if that's not adjudged Touchdown there. Yeah, it is.
Now you're making a bid to be a magistrate in the light of the last two decisions.
You're correct, George.
Not that it makes any difference, really.
Still over 15 minutes to go of what is now exciting international rugby here at Twickenham. Farrell. It's a bit of a roll on that. Not quite enough for Genia. Cooper. Oh, that's brilliant. Almost. The tap was just enough. And Hartley back at him.
He was never going to kick that, was he? Never.
Absolutely not. Genia again, back to Toomua, that other option, as Leali'ifano is in that role as well. 12 trees, England getting on with it. Mike Brown said, OK, well, if we're doing that, a little bit higher next time, please. And Mike Brown, as a consequence, in trouble.
First infringement is wide off the field.
Quite frankly, that is just gifting the possibility of points to the opposition.
Now, Quade Cooper surely has to go for 3 points here. Test match rugby, 15 minutes to go. I'd imagine Australia have to try and get within a try of winning this game here.
Real momentum shift, isn't it, since Cooper missed that penalty. Toomua was unlucky with the penalty kick to touch England. It's almost as though someone's gone on and given them a proverbial slap to the face and said, come on, get in, throw the textbook away, get over the gain line, hit things, smash breakdowns. Law's in the middle of it. I think Launchbury's outstanding. And then we get a nice line out from Hartley coming on with his first throw. Billy Vunipola around the corner into Quade Cooper. And we're playing this pace. Just sometimes it's so difficult. First game since March. You want to do everything technically correct. And you can forget occasionally it's about getting a ball and going forward. And that's much more what England have been about in the second half.
And England just a little bit wrapped up in the pace of things there, weren't they, with 12 trees. And his delivery to Brown. It's a good chase, though, from Australia.
I think it goes back to what Will was just saying. England have accelerated their pace, and they didn't quite control it there. Didn't help that it was a really poor throw that put Mike Brown under a lot of pressure from Billy 12 trees. But Will's absolutely right. It's almost as if England have been thinking, what have we been practicing? What have we been doing in these training sessions? And now they've switched the flick and bang, different. But this kick goes over and Australia believe in themselves again. If it doesn't, Miles, I think it's quite a long way for the Wallabies back.
It's finding the balances, isn't it, in that first game. Not easy for England. Australia have been together for quite a while now as a group, but they needed that score. They really needed that one from Quade Cooper. Tens times, it's a win that means so much to both teams for different reasons, but they meet in the middle. The one reason they're meeting in the World Cup pool on this ground. Only one other meeting before that game here at Twickenham in a year's time. These are marker matches, and everybody knows it. Robshaw tries to take control of this. Hooper, last year's man of the match. Bainga. Nick White. He's going to leave it to Horwell. Who goes?
No material.
England throw the bodies in low. Cut off at source. Marler looks over the referee and Morgan too, but it's a play on from George Clancy. About to drift into the final 5 minutes then. Conversion's important as well. Cooper knows that. But he's looking for the try first, and Folau, what a step. Left yard for dead there. They know it's coming, but they can't do anything about it. When Israel Folau steps like that. In goes White again. Robinson's lost it, not forward. England hold firm. Still work to be done though.
Well, Yard missed his man, but he actually did a pretty good job because he didn't let Folau go on that wide arc. He's used to such deadly effect in his Test career. He forces him inside him, he beats him, but then England have got an army of white shirts coming. It's a great pass from Cooper. The step into 1, 2, 3, 4 Englishmen there. If he is going to beat you, let him beat you on the inside. Tompkins was very quick in there, Farrell there, Brown. Robshaw says, come on, we're almost there.
Set! Yes, 9.
England get the penalty, he'll like that. And so do the Twickenham crowd. Good effort again from the pack. They have delivered at the scrum.
Key scrums, key times, the England pack have done the job needed, and it's not just the 8, it's a squad that have come in. Marler's come on for Vunipola. So remember that Corbisiera's not there. Good strength and depth. And Davy Wilson, who is pushing Dan Colt very hard, does a cracking job there, doesn't he? And I think the man who's done more than anything to put England in a winning position has been this man, Mike Brown. It has been a scrappy game, but at full-back, he has played with calm assurance throughout. He's instigated much of England's best counter-attacking. His kicking game has been good. He's been a spark that's lifted this crowd, and he made a massive tackle here on Nick Cummins that might just have made sure England win this game. By QBE, man of the match is Harlequins and England fullback Mike Brown.
And here's the most important scrum of the match, as Australia look to stay firm and get that ball out quickly, which they do. Tompkins and Farrell, the Wigan boys, trying to hold him up. Farrell screaming that his side should get the decision. They do. And with that, England surely have the game, the way the scrum has gone. One more scrum, and it is the Cook Cup.
Well, that sums up exactly what Will was saying down on the touchline. It's not been a perfect display, but the sheer will and commitment, that choke tackle and the reaction of Owen Farrell there. A lot of winners from 2003, but certainly mentally this team, they've got a real edge to them. They've got a long way to go technically, but that's superb. Law's involved, Brown at the back clearing.
Well, it hurts for Australia, as it doesn't hurt here for England, or shouldn't. Keep their form at the scrum. Good strike by Hartley. The clock is in red, and it's a penalty. So now we know and how this England team yearns to deliver that perfect 3 out of 3 autumn series. Well, this is going to be that all-important first stride. A new cap man, Joel Tompkins, breathes a sigh of relief. Oh, get out of the way, Courtney Lawes, he does. And Owen Farrell puts it into the stand. And England show in the second half that this is their manner.
We went out, we started well. Unfortunately, in the first half, we lost a little bit of momentum, and they got a try probably against a run of play. I think it was the only time they were in our 22. But the endeavour from the guys to come out in the second half and perform like that, the fans today were absolutely fantastic. Really got behind us, and I think it spurred us on.
Well, I was pleased to get the win. There's no doubt about it. You know, I thought we didn't have it all our own in the first half. Missed a couple of penalties, conceded a soft try really. But what I was really pleased about was the composure we showed in the second half and the ability to come back from 13-6 down and win the game. So a lot of young lads out there, 3 making the first start at Twickenham, and delighted to get the win.
Was that the game today that you lost last year?
Yeah, probably. I think it probably was, actually. I think second half, thought the subs made a difference when they came on, but our control grew in the game, and I thought we deserved it in the end.
We fought hard in that first half. We were up against a 7-1 penalty count there for most of that half, and to lead at half-time was good. We had a moment there in the second half to go sort of 16-6 up, which would have been ideal. We missed it, and then suffered. The England cranked up the pressure, through their high balls and scrum and mauling, and squeezed us, and in the end we weren't good enough.
And there's the cut in the hands of Chris Robshaw, and England do what the Lions did and lift the trophy against Australia.